Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. What we're going to be doing in today's video is I'm going to be going through with you guys some of the decks that I'm building right now. There's been a ton of Magic product that's kind of been thrown at us over the last couple of months. It never, ever stops. I haven't really built any decks myself since like Commander Legends come out. I've been a few upgrades here and there, but generally speaking I haven't put anything new together since then. So we've got cards from like Commander Legends, Kaldheim, Strixhaven's just come out, and we've got Modern Horizons 2 on the way, already looking at some cool stuff in that set. But yeah, a lot of the views on the channel go towards the deck techs. So what I'm going to do is kind of give you an insight into how I build decks myself and what I'm currently thinking of and what I'm currently planning. A lot of these decks have been in kind of percolating around for quite a while. And yeah, I'm finally at a stage where I can kind of put some cardboard in some sleeves and get building. So with that, let's jump in. So first up is one of the newest commanders that I'm going to be building. It's Ossica, the Reconstructor from this year's Commander Legends. When I first started playing Commander, I would buy a lot of the precons. It's how I got a lot of the staples that you need to build Commander decks. As time's gone on, I don't pick up as many every year. I kind of pick up one if it interests me, kind of like one a year, that kind of thing. And this year, it was Boros. I don't have a Boros Commander anymore. I did have Winota for a while, but that kind of that was like a one-trick pony I kind of found. Humans and tokens and stuff. It was cool, but I took it apart because I needed some cards for my cube. But Ossica, I think, is going to be a ton of fun. I don't have an artifact deck either, so this kind of fills a niche that I'm kind of after. So shockingly, because it's me, I'm going to be focusing on the graveyard aspect of this deck quite heavily. Tons of cards that like churn through your deck, put stuff into your graveyard, and then with Ossica, reanimate them and make a load of tokens. So almost kind of eggsy, loads of kind of artifacts that when they come into play, draw you cards, give you an extra effect, that kind of thing. The one expensive card that I own is a Lion's Eye Diamond. So I'm going to put that in there with like the Bomberman combo with Aurochs Salvages and Pirate Spellbomb. You basically just keep looping Lion's Eye Diamond back, keep looping the Pirate Spellbomb back, hitting it out, like hitting to the face all of your opponents, that kind of stuff. But we're going to be throwing in stuff like a Goblin Engineer, a Goblin Welder, along with the Reti. Let's just dump some high drop creatures like a Wormcoil Engine into the graveyard, swap it in play with some of our eggs, get value from the egg dying, get a Wormcoil Engine back, all that kind of cool stuff. And then probably for the hell of it, we'll throw in some infinite mana combos with things like Basalt Monolith and Rings of Brighthearth. That could be a load of fun. So yeah, I haven't really built a hyper-tuned deck in a while. My playgroup might disagree with that, I'm not entirely sure. This is kind of my excuse to do that. I don't have an artifact deck, don't have a Boros deck, so I have a ton of cards just lying around. So I can kind of throw in and make something cool. I think that'll be a ton of fun. So next up is Tanazir Kwondrix. I'm kind of building this one because I opened a nice alt art and I think it looks really awesome. And when I was kind of thinking about it, it reminded me of the style of deck that I really like, and that's Flying Men. I had a deck beforehand built around Edric as the commander, but it was quite strong. Edric's quite a strong commander. It was Flying Man, hit face, draw cards, and then you take extra turns, churn through more of your deck, play more flyers, win with the hoof. It was quite consistent and quite good, so I kind of took it apart because no one really liked playing against it. So I'm thinking of doing a similar thing, having a load of really low drop creatures, loads of flyers, at like 1 and 2, unblockable creatures, that kind of thing, combining that with the Edric effects. So Edric will still go in the deck, but instead of the extra turn spells, there's be like a +1/+1 counter synergy, which works really well with Kwondrix. Because the +1 counter stuff will buff up some of our creatures. They'll all be unblockable. So when they swing through with Kwondrix, they'll all have base power 4/4. Like a lot of these creatures are kind of 1/1 flyers. But if they become 4/4 flyers, it means you don't need to run Crater Hoof style effects because you have it on your commander. I think that could be quite cool. Again, probably not as strong as Edric, but probably more fun for everyone involved, if that makes sense. And again, that's one of the nice things about Commander, is that it's a card I hadn't really thought about building, opened it, thought it looked sweet. I don't have it in my hand. One of the reasons I'm filming this way is because we're currently moving, so what you're not seeing is there's boxes everywhere. It is in a box somewhere. I will build it shortly once I move. Okay, so I need to come clean with everyone. I have a little bit of a problem. I currently have 6 Sultai decks built, with 3 more in pieces and 2 more that I have built in the past and taken apart. We're going for number 7 now. So in this set, because they've pushed the Spells Matter themed into Simic and into Golgari with the mages especially, and with like Professor Onyx as a really good win condition, combined with Sedgemoor Witch, which is like a black version of like Talrand and the kind of token makers that when you cast spells. So it's made me want to take the Spellslinger style of deck and push it into Sultai because I'm a fiend for that kind of thing. So the plan is to play the token makers that are already in blue along with Sedgemoor Witch, play a lot of 1-drop spells that fill up your graveyard because a graveyard is always a resource. You can play cards with Flashback and Delirium and Threshold, which I'm a big fan of and I really like them. So for the commander, I'm thinking of running Damia, Sage of Stone. Everyone likes drawing 7 in their upkeep, and I've never built a Damia deck before, so I think this could be a really good fit, because I want to be running a load of instant spells, which I can just play, empty my hand out on other people's turns, then on my turn, refill it up, and then get through the whole thing all over again. I think it'd be a lot of fun. And also, because I'm kind of stupid, I want to play Is It 1 with nothing? And yeah, I'm not sure how strong it's going to be, but it's one of the things I like about Commander is that I've wanted to build a Damia deck for ages, because I think it's a really cool Sultai card, which I haven't built around yet. and then all of a sudden a new set comes out, loads of new mechanics in colours that weren't really there before, and then all of a sudden you have a new theme, a new like spellslinger thing in Sultai, which seems like a ton of fun and is right up my alley and is something I'm really looking forward to trying. Okay, so next up is a commander from Commander Legends. I don't know who originally had this idea, but I heard Ben Wheeler from the North 100 podcast talking about it first, and it's Elf Dredge, with Llanowar Abomination as the commander. So it turns out there's a load of elves which reward you and give you value for discarding cards. That works really well with the dredge mechanic because you can stick them in your graveyard, dredge them back, put a load of cards into your graveyard, and then you still have ways to discard them again. That's always one of the downsides when you're building a dredge deck, is you always need to have cards to get them back into the graveyard because they can't really do much in your hand. Like, no one who actually wants to be hard casting a Golgari Thug. So the aim of the deck is very much to make the biggest Llanowar Abomination possible and hit people in the face with that. In the meantime, you might just naturally make yourself a board state of elves, because elves is quite good at doing that. But then when the inevitable board wipe happens, you can then just replay your commander and it's still massive. There'll be ways of giving it trample, like Titanoth Rex, so cycle that, goes into the graveyard, helps with some other stuff. You have Jared as another win condition, so you can just throw your Llanowar Abomination at people as well. I think it'll be a lot of fun. This kind of goes back into my problem with building loads of Sultai deck, is I just love graveyard and dredgy kind of things, and this kind of really fits into the kind of style I like to play. So yeah, with Commander Legends and Kaldheim, there's just a ton of new green-black cards, and me being lazy, rather than shoehorning them into my other Sultai Elves deck, I thought I'd just build a whole new one out of these cards. And what's nice is because Elves has been supported for quite a while, I just have a load of these cards lying around, so I've managed to put it together without only having to spend like 10, 20 quid, which includes sleeves. Because that's one thing, when I'm building like 4 or 5 decks at the same time, you run out of sleeves quicker than you think. So next up is a deck I would really like to build, but the key card is a bit pricey, and I need 32 of them. That may have given you a clue. It's building Dragon Approach. So I wasn't thinking of going mono red with this deck. You could build it with Bergi, I think that'd be quite strong, but I want to build it with Mizzix to really get that cost reduction down. And then adding blue gives you access to some extra dragons like Niv Mizzet, which will just help fill out the deck a bit more. Blue also gives you like some mill stuff, and it gives you some artifact tutors, so you can tutor up your Thrumming Stone to really go off with the deck. And yeah, the main thing stopping me from building this right now is that Dragon's Approach is like a quid or two, which when you need like 32 of them to make a deck work, it's not that expensive in terms of a whole commander deck, but it's just the thought of spending like 30, 40 quid on commons. It's a bit weird to me, if that makes sense. Especially right now. I think in like 6 months or so, people will have forgotten about it. The card will go down in price and I'll be able to pick them up pretty cheaply. So that's kind of the plan with that one. So yeah, that's me. That's where I am with my deck building. I kind of like to let ideas percolate for a while, and then I'll build like 3 or 4 decks at the same time. That's kind of how I've always done it. And yeah, I've kind of been given the impetus to get these done, but because we're moving house soon, so that's why we are in this section of the spare bedroom today, because the rest of it is covered in boxes and is quite messy. So fortunately, this frame is hiding all my sins. So this might be the last time you see my lovely face for a month or two, just while we get things moved and that kind of stuff. It's a bit difficult to set up lights and cameras while we're in the middle of moving. Deck takes will still be going on. Please let us know down in the comments if there's any deck takes you would like us to build. But thank you to everyone who has subscribed. Thank you to everyone who's ever watched a video. It is really greatly appreciated. I can't believe it's only been like 6 months or so. I've got a load of really cool plans lined up. So if you aren't subscribed, please consider doing it now. Again, greatly appreciated. And with that, I will love you and leave you. Thank you very much, everyone. I'll see you soon. Goodbye.